Welcome back, Miami Dolphins. Hit that like and subscribe if you like this video, and comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And I know I'm going to hear some of these guys. This video is... I'm getting tired of hearing this. I think everybody's going to have their narrative. You're just not going to prove them wrong. Of course, Tua has a lot to work on, and there's a lot of things, again, with the injuries and the way that he plays during certain games, but there's a lot more to the context than what a lot of people like to say. And I hear a lot of the problem is Tua, and yes, there are certain things that Tua needs to work on. He needs to stay on the field, because when you really calculate it, the way that Tua is playing this year, we would have went to the playoffs again. Now, people can say, oh, we would have lost in the first round, blah, 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 blah. Don't know what would have happened. We don't know. But what we do know is that if Tua played, we probably 95% chance, because we only really needed one more win to make it to the playoffs, or two more wins. So most likely in those 6 games, Tua would have won 2 of them. So here's the thing. Would have made the playoffs again. And what this video is going to do is you're going to see some of the film where, number one, Tua making incredible throws, Tua doing a lot of really good things, against, people want to say good teams, against the Rams and against the Cardinals, and, even against the Packers and against the Bills, making a lot of really good plays. And again, the context is, yes, number one, cannot get injured. He needs to start learning what a win is versus what a loss, because a loss against a team with him still on the field, still playing, still healthy, still a win. And he also needs to understand that during certain games, you have to understand what needs to happen. And again, the context of it is, as well, is there's a lot of speculation that, Tyreek Hill wasn't practicing. He was running the wrong routes. And Tua is very much so a timing quarterback. But what this team needs to understand, and what you need to understand when you watch this video, number one, him doing those incredible things, he needs to stay healthy. But also, you're going to see the offensive line, when he snaps the ball, somebody's right in his face. That is not conditions for a quarterback to thrive, and he still kind of does. So the narrative that Tua just sucks it's just absolutely ridiculous. The narrative that Tua is the holy grail of everything right now is also not a great narrative. It's kind of in the middle. Tua is a good quarterback. He can make a lot of really good throws. He can play very well, but he does do a lot of things that are mistakes. He does make a lot of mistakes, and the mistakes are mostly just doing things that he doesn't need to do. You know what I'm saying? And the problem is that those things include him getting injured. So let's take a look at this, but I want you to see 2 things. Watch the throws that he makes. These throws are not easy to make, and a lot of quarterbacks can't make these throws. And number 2, watch the offensive line. You're going to see immediate pressure in his face almost every single time. These are intermediate throws. You have to understand, too, Tua has the fastest receivers in the league. So when you're seeing pressure in his face, most quarterbacks, if they didn't have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle being the fastest receivers in the league, wouldn't even be able to get the ball out in time, because the pressure is going to get to them immediately. So again, you have to take that into consideration, that Tua does not suck. There's a lot of things he needs to work on. But again, and I have this thing that I'm going to tell you, if we don't get him an offensive line this year, he's not going to be a backup quarterback. I think all of you think that that's what's going to happen, that Tua is just going to be this backup quarterback. What's going to happen is he's going to get cut or traded or whatever it is, but he's going to go to a team that understands to get him a very good offensive line, because that's the type of quarterback that he is, and he's going to thrive. And we're going to see another quarterback leave and do excellent somewhere else. That's what happens to the Dolphins all the time. So again, we'll talk more about this, but we'll get into it right now. So what you're going to see on a lot of these plays is that Tua does a lot of things that people don't see. Like, this is the first game of the season. You're not going to realize, obviously, this pass got tipped, but when people sit here and they tell me that Tua just sucks, like outright sucks, we've watched quarterbacks that suck. Tua doesn't suck. The only problem with Tua is that he gets injured all the time. When Tua is on the field, bro, I'm just getting so tired of this. I made a video a long time ago
where I was like, I finally admit I was wrong about Tua. The reason I said I was wrong about him is because he gets injured, and in the big games, he does weird stuff. But when you really look at this offensive line, like, this is going to be a perfect throw to Jalen Waddle right here. This is a very hard throw to make. Like, I think people sitting on their couches don't understand how hard these throws are to make, that he makes look super easy. Like, this is, look at the time that he has in the pocket. This is when we had basically the best offensive line we would have had this year. It's like 2 seconds, and he's moving out of the way immediately after he throws the ball. Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes, they don't do that a lot. That I don't think people really realize that. They don't do that. He is under duress every single play. And you see right there that the reason that he's not getting sacked is because of his pocket presence of moving up. Right here, you're going to see this type of play, perfect type of play to explain what Tua does, where he moves up because he knows he's going to have pressure. I don't understand what this "he sucks" thing. It needs to end, and this is going to be, I mean, I know I'll make a video like this and it won't matter. You know, I understand that we lost some of the games, but if a quarterback literally goes down and you can't win a game without him, and he comes back and you almost make the playoffs again, and you can realize that if he was healthy, you would have made the playoffs for the 3rd straight year. That quarterback does not suck. And I think it's getting ridiculous. Look at this right here. Pressure right in his face. You have to understand how the game works. And am I saying that Tua is, Patrick Mahomes? No, of course not. But what you have to understand is that he does a lot of things that people don't see. And he makes a lot of throws look very easy that are extremely difficult. Right here, past Tyreek Hill. It's literally on the run, a dart right to Tyreek Hill, right in the middle of defenders. That is an extremely hard throw to make. People that say his arm strength and all that stuff, like, that's a really hard throw to make. I don't think you understand how hard of a throw that is. And here's the thing. Coming into the 4th quarter, we had a chance to win this game. Look at the pocket presence right there. Like, quarterbacks that suck can't do that. Look at the pocket presence right here for Tua. He has pressure in his face immediately and stays in the pocket. Look at this. That is a beautiful play. I remember this play now. I was freaking out because I was like, holy crap, that was amazing. These are plays. Yes, he doesn't take off and run like Lamar Jackson. But look at Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. Again, throwing interceptions and fumbles, because the regular season is completely different for Lamar Jackson, because people can't hone in on what he does. These throws are ridiculous. This is another game. We almost won this game. Tua gave us the lead in the 4th quarter. The defense bailed. They just completely left the room. They didn't want to play. You have to understand, number one, even Cam Ward is not going to play at this level when he gets into the league. I'm sorry to say this. Even Cam Ward. We look at Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels has a offensive philosophy catered to him. He's a great quarterback. Totally understand. But I always like seeing players in their 2nd year, because when you're a rookie, you don't have any tape, so people don't know how to defend you. Happens all the time. You see it with CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud was the same thing last year. People got tape on him, figured out what he does. Tua, people know what he does. He just does it so good that you can't stop it. Another pass to Tyreek Hill in between 3. Like, this is what I don't get. You see these plays all the time. Pass in between 3 defenders, perfectly accurate, right into the bucket for Tyreek Hill or whoever. These are passes that normal quarterbacks don't make. These throws, if you're a little bit off, is an interception. And yes, the problem that we continually have is not because Tua sucks. It's because our offensive line and everything around us completely folds when we play physical teams. Because we cannot run the ball, and they get immediate pressure on Tua, so he doesn't have enough time to look at the defense. I mean, that throw right there, you realize they test kids out of college to see if they can even make that throw, because that throw is so difficult to make, the timing and everything. Because if you throw that off, that's a pick six. Usually people can just undercut that. That is an extremely hard throw to make. And what I'm saying is, I don't think that we need Tyreek Hill as much as everybody thinks that we need Tyreek Hill. I think if we draft a receiver, we'll be fine if we get an offensive line. We saw it right here. Look at this play by Tua to give us the lead. Unbelievable. People say he can't scramble. It's just like, people will make up whatever they want to say that this guy sucks. He does not suck. Quarterbacks that suck don't make plays like this. Quarterbacks that suck don't move up in the pocket, move around, and make beautiful throws with someone right in their face. He's a really good quarterback. It's just the problem is he can't stay healthy. That is the issue. The issue is, and you know what? Honestly, what really sucks about all this is if they don't get him an offensive line next year, what's going to happen is not that, he's going to have a bad NFL career. I can guarantee you what's actually going to happen with Tua if we don't get him an offensive line next year is that some team and he's going to turn into Drew Brees, and he's going to be throwing for 5,000 yards every single year and going to the playoffs with a team that actually figures out how to do stuff right. That's the actual problem. That's the real issue, is that Chris Greer doesn't understand to get an offensive line for his quarterback, and that Tua will never complain about it. I think it's only been caught once that he's complained about that. But he will never say that. Bad quarterbacks don't make throws like that. This is against a playoff team. This is against the Rams. They were a 10-5, 10-6 team, 10-7, and they went to the playoffs and beat people. They barely lost to the Eagles. Tua beat this team, and that was an excellent throw. Sorry if I'm coming off angry. I get so frustrated with these people where they're just like, Tua sucks. Tua is the problem. Like I said, I can guarantee you when you're watching this, if they don't get him an offensive line next year, Tua's going to go to a team, I don't know, like the Saints or like the Raiders that has a Tom Brady and understands to get an offensive line, they're going to put a wall in front of him, and he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Straight up. I'm telling you right now, Tua can be a franchise quarterback if he just stays healthy. The injuries that he takes are just stupid, and that is understandable. I totally get that part of the argument. If he just continues to try and do stupid things, like this play is incredible. Look at that. Look at how awesome that throw is. That's an incredible pass. Moving around, evading people in the pocket. See, the thing is the problem with Tua is that he doesn't just do this. This is what he needs to do. Escape. That's what he needs to do. But what he ends up doing is trying to run like Cam Newton for a first down, and every time he gets injured. That he needs to stop. But he can evade pressure. He can do a lot of those things, a lot of awesome things. And I understand people will say the Raiders, but the Raiders beat the Baltimore Ravens. So any team can beat any team on any day. These are throws that you don't just make if you suck as a quarterback. Again, the only problem with him is that he does stupid things. And like I've said in a previous video, and I think some people will say like I switched my argument. I have never switched my argument with Tua. I think Tua does not play well against good teams, but when you look at it, it's because he gets rushed. And I think he needs to stop throwing dumb interceptions in big games, of course. But again, he played the Rams, came back, and we beat that team. That's a playoff team. He did that. It's just, again, when we were playing the Rams, Austin Jackson was still there. That was the issue. Austin Jackson was there, and then Austin Jackson went down, and the whole line crumbled. So, again, the only knock that I have on Tua, not that he can't play. I think he could play very well. The problem is that in those types of games, he has to understand what truly is a win and a loss. Because a loss can still be a win if you're still playing. And that's what I think he needs to get. A loss in this league can still be a win if you're still on the field. And that's what he needs to understand in his head. Escape in the pocket, move around. But if you're losing, I understand you want to win. But your legs are not going to get the win for people. And the problem is he had a couple plays when he was in his rookie year and his sophomore year that he ran and did some crazy stuff like breaking someone's arm or something like that. But he can't do that. He needs to stay on the field. So again, even a loss against the Houston Texans is still a win if he's on the field. Even a blowout loss to the Buffalo Bills is still a win if he's on the field. That's what he needs to understand. Because that's an incredible throw. If that's a little bit off, like, here's the thing. I'm going to tell you right now, and people might argue with me, Lamar Jackson can't make that throw. A lot of these throws that Tua makes, Lamar Jackson can't do that. He can't make those types of throws. Only I would say Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes can make throws like that. Because you have to be extremely accurate in order to make these. Like, that's an open throw. That's the Lamar Jackson type of throw. That's what he gets the whole year. That's why Lamar Jackson gets passing yards. And not saying Lamar Jackson is bad. He's a really good quarterback, but there's different attributes that all of us have. And the problem is that even those quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson, even though he can run, it's not about running. Like, people are saying, like, it's about running. It's not about running quarterbacks or not running quarterbacks. None of that matters. It's about getting an offensive line versus not getting an offensive line. Because Tua can do stuff in the pocket, and we have fast enough receivers to get open. It's just he has no time. Like, I had a comment in the comment section where they were like, look at how much time he has to throw. He has plenty. Bro, you clearly don't watch the games. Against the New England Patriots that have barely a pass rush, yeah, you see he gets like 2 seconds to throw the ball. Sure, 2 seconds. Instead of the 1 second, he gets 2 seconds to throw the ball. Against a New England defense that doesn't really have many pass rushers that are really that great. Look at how much time. Look at Liam Eichenberg and how much time this line takes to crumble around Tua. Look at that. Do you understand that most people, it does not do that? Their offensive line does not crumble that fast. Look at the left side. Of course, Austin Jackson went down. Look at the left side of this line, or the right side. Look at the right tackle. Immediately, Tua has pressure in his face. Immediately. It's literally like he hikes the ball and they're already right next to him. Do you understand how hard it is to make throws when you already have a defender right next to your face? It's ridiculous. Like, and then he still makes throws like that, right in the bucket. Tua does not suck, man. The problem is, again, like we see continually in this film breakdown, is that the offensive line has few to minimal times where they look good in the game. And especially when Austin Jackson went down. I think people underestimate how much Austin Jackson means to this team. Because right when he went down, people will say that's like a clean pocket. It's a clean pocket for 2 seconds. Because Tua gets the ball out, they look better than what they normally do. Watch the offensive line right here. It's already pushing people right into Tua's face. That's not a fully clean pocket. You understand? Like, that they're getting pushed back. Most offensive lines are not getting pushed back immediately. Tua's always is getting pushed right into him. Number one, what that does for a quarterback. See, first clean pocket. That's the first one that I've seen mostly in this video. You can't set, which when you're throwing the ball, I don't think people realize, because yes, unless you're Patrick Mahomes, but even Patrick Mahomes needs to set. You need to set your feet and your waist to be aligned with where you're throwing. If you can't do that, it already throws off a couple steps. That's what happens to Tua. Now we'll watch this game right here. Watch the offensive line in this game, and he still makes passes. Like, he still almost leads a comeback. People forget that. Like, we almost were able to do something in this game. Look at the offensive line immediately. They're getting pushed into him. And when they give him enough time, Jalen Waddle gets open. This is the problem. And these are throws that he's making for 15 yards. Like the deep passes, this like there were a lot of intermediate passes. You don't need to have deep passes all the time. In this, the first time that he gets a clean pocket, it's because there's 5 offensive linemen versus 3 defenders. I mean, I don't understand what you need to see from this. Immediately, there's a person in his face, and he makes an incredible throw. Look at the right tackle. Like, I want you to see any quarterback that's facing pressure like this. Look at the right tackle immediately having someone come into Tua's face. This is incredibly hard to throw the ball in these types of conditions. So again, like I'll say it again, Tua is not the problem. The offensive line and Chris Greer not getting an offensive line, and Mike McDaniel. Look at the pressure he has in his face immediately. He has the least amount of time to throw the ball. And like I said, if they don't fix this, Tua's not going to have a bad career. He's not going to be a backup. What you guys don't understand, because you don't understand football, is that what Tua's going to do is he's going to go to a team that gets him an offensive line. And what's going to happen is we're going to watch another quarterback, but one that's even better than Ryan Tannehill, light up the league for passing yards, because there's going to be a team and a coach that gets him an offensive line that realize, hey, this guy's a fragile guy. He's a pocket passer. Let's build a wall around him. Let's do that. And then see what his ceiling is. And he's going to light up the league. That's what's going to happen. Like, people undersell what Tua can do. People, because they're reporters, like, they like to say, like, he's, what do they say? They say he's, like a Ryan Tannehill, or like, what's that guy that was back in the day? I forgot his name. They like to compare him to the one guy that took us to the playoffs, like in 2005 or something. Oh, man, the guy that was made out of glass, basically. I'd like to compare him to that, but he's better than that guy. Like, he's the type of dude. Again, Miami, Drew Brees, he was injured. He was off injured. But again, the Saints picked him up, put a wall around him. He became one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. I'm telling you right now, what's going to happen to Tua if they don't get him an offensive line is he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the game. Because again, when you look at the film, yes, I can make opinions for when the game happens and I see, but every time I look at the film afterwards, all I see is that Tua is under duress immediately, every play.
So, yeah, I mean, let me know your comments down below. But as you can see, people are going to say whatever they're going to say. But number one, pressure in his face almost every single play that he hikes the ball, especially against physical teams, good teams. Physical teams, they have a good pass rush. So they immediately get to Tua. You can't diagnose the field. You can't even look at, like, people want to say first read, second read, all that. Tua clearly goes through his reads. But if you have 1 second to throw the ball, you can't. You can't look that way because you don't have enough time to twist your body in order to throw the ball that way. So, again, a lot to work on for Tua. Understanding what a loss and a win is. A loss with him still on the field is still a win. But Tua can be a really good quarterback. You don't need a Patrick Mahomes to do crazy things. Like, Tom Brady was excellent. But if Tom Brady were drafted in this league, he's kind of like a Tua. Tom Brady got injured a lot. And Tom Brady didn't run at all. Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, these are the guys that won Super Bowls. Now, of course, Patrick Mahomes is a Super Bowl winner, and he can run. But Patrick Mahomes doesn't really run. He only runs when it's necessary. You need a pocket passer. You need someone that's accurate. Josh Allen runs when it's necessary. Josh Allen is an elite quarterback because he makes all these different throws from the pocket, and he can run. Tua can also run, but he needs to understand that he is not the same size as Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. It's just the way that it is. He needs to stay on the field because when he stays on the field, we win. Regardless if we get blown out by the Bills or whatever, we still win. And of course, good teams are not good teams. They're just physical. That's what makes them good. They have a defensive line that can rush the passer. So whenever we play these types of teams, the 1.9 seconds that Tua has to throw the ball then goes to 1.2. And that's why he struggles. So again, get him an offensive line. It will change everything. But we'll see what they do. We'll see if they run the same stupid nonsense back and let Tua go to a team that actually will do it. But as always, guys, love you all. Let me know in the comments what you think about this video. Fins up, baby. Love you all. Peace.